Hi, I'm Corey with Stand By Me Next Gen, and this is Scholarships 102 for the 22-23 academic year. Let's begin. Since this is a 102 course, there's going to be some learning objectives. At the end of our time together, we hope that you will understand the types of grants and scholarships that are available. We hope to offer tools and advice for finding college grants and scholarships, and we plan on giving some tips for scholarship essay writing. Hopefully, these things will be valuable to you in your scholarship search. Let's begin with the basics. Grants and scholarships are money that you do not need to pay back. They are free money. Loans, however, must be paid back. Now, while typically this is done after the student has completed the entire program of study, if for some reason the student does not complete the program of study or falls below half time, then those loans would enter repayment in or around that time. Types of grants of scholarships are available. There are need-based grants, which will be determined in part by the family's income as reported on the FAFSA. Now, there are also merit-based grants out there, but typically grants are need-based. We've also got merit-based scholarships, which are awarded on things such as SAT score, GPA, skills and achievements, and other non-financial criteria. However, there are also lots of need-based scholarships, which would be based on financial criteria, also determined in part by the FAFSA. So where do these things come from? The federal government provides the Pell Grant, which is the main financial aid that students think of when they think of financial aid, but they also offer several other types of grants. The state government, especially the Delaware state government, offers a lot of scholarships and grants through the Delaware Higher Education Office, which these things are made available through delawarestudentsuccess.org, which we will talk about in a little while. The colleges and universities themselves have great resources as far as grants and scholarships, which they can provide to their students. And then, of course, private donors, be they individuals or institutions, provide grants and scholarships. So let's take a look at the federal grants real quick. Again, the federal Pell Grant is usually what students are after when they're doing the FAFSA. It is a need-based grant, and in 2022-2023 academic year, it was worth $68.95 for students with the most financial need as determined by the FAFSA. There's also the Federal Supplemental Educational Opportunity Grant, or the SEOG, which ranges from $100 to $4,000. So for more information on these and other federal grants, please visit studentaid.gov. The FAFSA, or the Free Application for Federal Student Aid, also available through studentaid.gov, is used to help determine eligibility for these need-based federal funding programs, such as the Pell Grant, the SEOG, as well as the TEACH grant. So again, please visit studentaid.gov for more information. The FAFSA is available starting October 1st of the year before aid is needed. So do make sure you've got that FAFSA completed at the same time as you're working on your scholarships. So what are some things that we think you need to know? You're going to want to find out what the GPA or class rank or SAT score requirement is going to be, if there even is one, for your funding source. Is that funding source renewable? And if so, what are the requirements to get that aid renewed each year? Is that aid need-based? And if it is, what are the income limits? Is there more than one award being given by this particular donor? And if so, how many? And no matter what type of award it is, what is the application process and when is the deadline? Scholarship and aid deadlines are usually pretty hard and fast, so make sure you're getting things in well before the deadline if you want a shot at that aid. Some things to do. You're going to want to find out how you can use the scholarships. Some scholarships are designated only for tuition. Some are open for any type of expense you might incur. So find out, can you use that for books and supplies? Is it tuition only? Can it be for room and board? Can it be for meals? How can that scholarship be used? And institutions are going to differ in how they apply outside scholarship funds. So if the scholarship itself does not designate its use, then the school may have a method for using that aid. So make sure that you're asking these questions of the donor and of the financial aid office. You should also talk to the financial aid office about how your financial aid could be affected if you receive private or state aid. Now, your federal aid, your Pell Grant, would not be adjusted because of outside funds, but institutional aid may be affected. So if you're applying for grants or scholarships from the college or university itself, and you're getting outside aid, they may reduce the amount of their own money that they're willing to give you so that that money can go to other students who don't have as much outside aid coming in. State of Delaware financial aid programs. To apply for the Delaware Higher Education Office grants and scholarships, you need to first create a Delaware Higher Education Office student account. You can do this at delawarestudentsuccess.org/state-aid. Again, delawarestudentsuccess.org/state-aid. Now, Delaware Student Success is your scholarship source. It allows you to create an account, as I've said. You can search for and research colleges. You can search for, research, and apply for scholarships. You can learn about the college investment plan, and you can download checklists for grades 9 through 12 to help you be successful moving forward towards college and or career. So DelawareStudentSuccess.org is a great resource. You're definitely going to want to check out the scholarship compendium, which is searchable by category, by keyword. Most of the scholarships in there are only open to Delaware high school students, whether you are planning to study in state or whether you are going to go to a college out of state. There is lots and lots of money that is only open to Delaware high school students. So please make sure you are taking advantage of the Delaware Scholarship Compendium. Some of the scholarships that feature in that compendium are going to be several memorial scholarships. There are two which are awarded each year, one at UD and one at DSU, and they are merit-based. We're going to talk about all of these scholarships I'm about to mention in a little more depth in the next couple of slides. These applications are due by February 24th of 2023. The Charles L. Hebner Memorial Scholarship, formerly the Diamond State Scholarship. These also are merit-based. There are 30 awarded each year, same application deadline as above. The Scholarship Incentive Program, or the SCIP grants, these are need-based awards, and the number of awards is determined by the funding level in each academic year. You must file the FAFSA by May 15th of 2023 and complete the separate SCIP application by the same date. For UD and Deltech, there is the SEED Scholarship, and a similar scholarship is Inspire for Del State. So let's get into some of these in a little more depth. One of the memorial scholarships is the B. Bradford Barnes Memorial Scholarship. Again, deadline is 4:30 p.m. on February 24th of 2023. Must file the FAFSA by May 15th. Have to have a combined 1290 score on the SAT or have the ACT equivalent. Now, this covers full tuition, room and board, fees, and books at UD. So this is a full ride scholarship to UD for some lucky student. It is renewable up to 3 additional years with a minimum of 3.0 GPA. So this could get you all the way through UD in 4 years if you maintain that GPA. The Herman Holloway Senior Scholarship, same deadline, same FAFSA deadline. This is a 1,000 combined score on the SAT or the ACT equivalent. This also covers full tuition, full room and board, fees, and books at DSU. So while the other one was for UD, this one is similar to DSU. Also renewable up to 3 additional years with a 3.0 GPA. So 2 lucky students are going to get these full ride scholarships to UD and DSU. The Charles L. Hebner Memorial Scholarship, formerly the Diamond State Scholarship, is a merit-based award of which there are approximately 30 offered each year in the amount of $1,250 per award. These 2 are renewable for 3 years with a minimum 3.0 GPA. Must have a combined 1290 on the SAT or have the ACT equivalent. You must enroll and attend full-time for any major in any state. So full-time is 12 credits, which typically equals 4 classes a semester. So 24 credits a year, 8 classes a year. So not a huge burden to be able to get this scholarship, and it's for any major in any state. Application is the same as the previous. The Delaware Scholarship Incentive Program, or the SCIP grants, these are need-based awards. There are approximately 1,000 awards given each year based on the funding level, and the award amount is going to be $1,000 per award. So to qualify for this, you must create your Delaware Higher Education Office student account and then update your college enrollment information every year. Also must file a FAFSA by the state deadline of May 15th, as with the others. So for this, students can be enrolled full-time in an undergraduate accredited program in Delaware or enrolled in an accredited program out of state that is not offered in a Delaware public college. So if what you want to study is not offered at one of our public colleges and you have to go out of state, this scholarship can follow you to that school. The financial need threshold is going to be based on the applicant pool. So it's going to potentially change every year. But typically, if you qualify for it one year, you will likely qualify for it the following years. Something new for 2022-23 from the Delaware Higher Education Office is the Educator Support Scholarship. This is for a full-time graduate or undergraduate student attending a Delaware public or private college who intend to pursue a career in education, whether in a classroom or as a specialist, if they are in a specific certification identified as area of need in Delaware schools. So if you are looking to be in education and you're going to follow a certain educational pathway, this could be for you. Must file your FAFSA by May 15th. More information is available at that website. It's kind of a lot of numbers and letters, so I'll give you a second to take a look at that. On the next screen, we will see what those specific certifications are going to be. So I'll give you a second to take a look at that website, screenshot or photo or write down. So let's see what the Educator Support Scholarship can do for us. These are the teacher shortage areas in 22-23. Bilingual English language learner, world languages or immersion, math, science, all areas of special education, business education, agri-science education, family consumer science, school nurse, library media specialist, English, and technology education. And for the specialist areas, these are speech language pathologists, school psychologists, school social workers, and school counselors. You are planning on pursuing any of these areas to be an educator, the Educator Support Scholarship could help you out along your way. There's also a career-based scholarship from the Delaware Higher Education Office. This is a scholarship for full-time undergraduate, incoming freshmen, or current students enrolled in a bachelor's degree program in a Delaware public or private college in a major leading to a career in a high-demand field in the state of Delaware. Same FAFSA deadline, same website. Take a minute to jot that down if you need to. And we'll see what these in-demand career fields are going to be. Accountants and auditors, financial analysts, financial managers, general and operations managers, human resources specialists, management analysts, managers, market research analysts and marketing specialists, registered nurses, and software developers. If you are planning on pursuing a career in any of these fields, the career-based scholarship could help you along your way. SEED, which stands for Student Excellence Equals Degree, is a very popular scholarship in the state of Delaware. It is a full tuition scholarship for up to 10 semesters or 5 years towards your associate's degree at either UD's associate's program or at Delaware Technical Community College. Again, it's full tuition for all credit and non-credit programs, including short-term certificate programs, such as Diesel Tech, Allied Health, Information Technology, among others. There is no separate application needed for SEED. The schools themselves will determine eligibility based on the criteria. is also available for the junior year at UD and Del Tech when 10 semesters are not used. Now, it is also going to be based on financial need, from what I understand, but it is still potentially available for the junior year at UD and Del Tech. The STAR Scholarship for Wilmington University is also available to successful SEED graduates. We'll give them a part-time or a half tuition scholarship if they completed their undergraduate as a successful SEED student. Goldie Beacom also has a SEED extension program towards the completion of an undergraduate degree at their institution. Some additional SEED changes. So some things have stayed the same, some things have expanded. You must be a Delaware resident and have graduated from a Delaware high school, homeschool, or hold a GED. People over 25 now qualify if you've been a Delaware resident for 5 years. Now, whether you're a traditional student or a post-traditional student, you must attend college full-time in your first semester. But after that, part-time enrollment is allowed. Gaps are also allowed in your education, but the total time is not to exceed 5 years maximum. Must have had a 2.5 GPA at high school graduation and must maintain that throughout your program. Also must have no violent felony convictions to your name. And must apply for all federal and state scholarship programs. So you have to complete the FAFSA in order to qualify for SEED, even though it is not a need-based program. Inspire is for Del State, and this is a full tuition scholarship for 8 semesters or 4 years. You must have Delaware high school graduate, must have graduated from Delaware high school, 2.75 GPA, so a little higher than SEED, must be taking a full-time course load, have no felony convictions, and you must fulfill a community service element as designated by the school. Complete the FAFSA and submit the Inspire application by March 15th of 2023. So for more information, you can check out the admissions section of Del State's website. Salisbury University has the Good Neighbor Scholarship. This provides $6,000 a year for Delaware and Eastern Shore, Virginia residents, and it is renewable for up to 8 semesters. Eligibility is based on the address on your admissions application. So essentially, this makes you an in-state student for tuition purposes. Must be a first-time student and must be a full-time student pursuing your Bachelor of Arts or Science. Must maintain satisfactory academic progress. For more information, you can go to Salisbury's website or email their admissions department directly. So, as I've said, colleges and universities are going to have their own sources of aid. And how that aid works can change how other aid works. So the school itself is going to determine your federal funding, which we've said is not going to be impacted by any other types of aid, but they will also determine the amount of their institutional aid you may be eligible for. And as I've said, that can change based on outside aid you may be getting. Some schools will require you to complete the College Scholarship Service or the CSS profile. And schools are going to differ widely on aid amounts. So private colleges tend to offer more free money because they have more free money to give. So if you have a school that's $20,000 a year and $40,000 a year, logically, you're going to say, well, $40,000 a year school is probably not going to be the best option for me because it's more expensive. But they may be able to offer you a better financial aid package than the $20,000 a year school, therefore making it more affordable to go to the more expensive school. So talk to an admissions or a financial aid counselor about the different types of aid you can apply for, whether it's scholarships from the institution, maybe they have grants or loans or work study. Make sure that you exhaust all avenues of aid for the school that you are interested in. You can check out the college that you're interested in. If they have a net price calculator, you can see what it might cost you out of pocket after federal, state, and institutional aid is factored in. If they don't have their own net price calculator, you can go to collegecost.ed.gov and use federal student aids calculator. The academic common market is something that can potentially save students as money as well. If your undergraduate or degree program is not offered by a public college in Delaware, you may be eligible for in-state tuition at a participating college in one of the 15 participating states as determined by the Southern Regional Education Board. So you must be a Delaware resident and be enrolled or have been accepted in the program to apply for the academic common market. So if you want to study petroleum engineering in Texas, you have to apply to the school, be accepted into the program, and then you can apply for the academic common market benefits. So for more information, you can go to delawarestudentsuccess.org/state-aid, or you can talk to your high school counselor about academic common market options. You can even speak to the school that you're interested in out of state and see if they are part of the academic common market. The Delaware Foster Care Tuition Waiver Program, not really a scholarship, and it is very limited in its scope, but I feel that it's very important to share here. So beginning in spring of 22, youth who have spent all or some of their teenage years in foster care will be eligible to have their college tuition waived at public Delaware in-state schools, which would include UD, DSU, and Delaware Tech. Tuition, fees, and books are included in this program, and additionally, year-round on-campus room and board, including a meal plan, is covered for full-time students at UD and DSU. So if you fall into this category, please visit kids.delaware.gov for more information on this excellent program. Undocumented students, there are resources available for you. Contact the financial aid office at the school or schools to which you're applying to let them know that you're going to need assistance in applying for financial aid. At UD and at Del Tech, you're eligible for the SEED scholarship. So you'll want to contact those schools directly to find out what process you need to take to qualify for SEED. The DREAM Scholarship is also available to DACA students. DSU is one of the schools in Delaware that accepts the DREAM Scholarship. So for more information, you can go to thedream.us. For this, you're going to want to apply by February 28th, and it could potentially get you up to $37,000 in tuition, fees, books, and supplies towards your bachelor's degree. Scholarships will often tell you whether or not they require citizenship in their description, and there will be additional scholarships for undocumented students. So please see the undocumented student section in delawarestudentsuccess.org for more. We've talked about delawarestudentsuccess.org several times so far. The scholarship compendium on that website lists many, many local and Delaware student-only scholarships, but they also list national scholarships. You can look by alphabet, by deadline date. I find it most helpful to search by category as well. Again, it is online at scholarships.delawarestudentsuccess.org, a great resource for you. The Delaware Community Foundation Scholarship Compendium is also a great resource, and they list more than 80 scholarships annually. Online application opened in December at delcf.org/scholarships. You'll also want to check with all kinds of different places for scholarships and tuition assistance. Check with employers. Students, check with your employers. Starbucks, McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, they all offer scholarships and tuition assistance. Parents, guardians, family members, check with your employers for any kind of scholarship and tuition assistance that may be available. If you're a part of a community organization, lions, elk, moose, bears, beavers, otters, whatever animal you align yourself with, they typically have scholarship resources as well. If you're part of a local sports league, if you're part of any other kind of charitable league, ask them about different scholarship opportunities that may be available. Check with local merchants and local service groups for different types of scholarship opportunities. Even local news channels typically have scholarship opportunities. Do not think that you're going to exhaust the list of scholarships because they are innumerable. Make sure you also check with your high school counselor. They are going to have large lists of local, regional, state, national scholarships, some of which may only be available to students at your school. So, how do we maximize that scholarship search? We talked about talking to employers, community groups, sports leagues, counselors, but what else can you do? Well, one thing you should not do is pay for scholarship information. The internet is the number one free source for scholarships. You're being asked to pay to search for scholarships or to complete a scholarship, leave that site, move on to something different. So you can even do a Google search and search for scholarships based on your major, your GPA, your ethnicity or your nationality, your religion, your interests and activities, even your location. So merit-based scholarships don't always fall simply on merit. They can be based simply on who you are and what you're interested in. And again, there are also need-based scholarships if you have financial need as determined by the FAFSA. So when you are searching, whether it's a Google search or whether you're using some sort of compendium or scholarship website, be specific in your search. Again, I just gave you a list of some keywords you can type up, but you can even find more specific things. One student that I spoke to one time had worked in a factory and wore compression socks, and she found a scholarship for people who had worn compression socks. So be specific. Also read carefully. Don't waste time on scholarships you don't qualify for. So again, some of these scholarships we've looked at, the Bradford Barnes, which was a full ride to UD. If you don't meet that SAT or ACT criteria, they're probably not going to make an exception for you. So that may not be the scholarship that you want to apply for. So find scholarships that apply to your interests, your goals, your situation in life, and focus on those. Make sure you understand the rules and deadlines. That's how you're going to be able to know whether those scholarships are right for you. And apply for as many scholarships as you can. And you may be saying, Corey, you just told me to be specific and don't waste time on scholarships that I don't qualify for. Now you're telling me to apply for everything I can. I mean that small amounts can add up. So lots of students are going to go for the 1,000+ scholarships. They're going to put all their money or all their hopes on that big money. They're going to ignore the $50, $100, $250, $500 scholarships. So if you can rake up a lot of those small scholarships, your pile could grow a lot faster than the students who are focused on those big money scholarships. So yes, be specific and read carefully. Don't waste your time, but apply for everything that you can for which you qualified. I heard a story from a school counselor where little old lady who belonged to a local garden club brought in a whole stack of scholarship applications to a local school and said, "Hey, I'd love for your students to apply for our scholarship. We've got a small amount, but it can help." A couple weeks later, the lady came back. Not a single student had applied for that scholarship because they thought it wasn't going to do any good for them. So I'm pretty sure that garden club is not going to be bringing scholarship applications for future students. So sometimes you may be the only student in the running for one of those small scholarships, which means you're guaranteed to get it. So don't skip the small stuff. So a couple of different sites to use. There's all kinds of sites out there. This is just a small sampling from some of our colleagues like some of these. I like some of these. People have suggested some of these. There's many more out there. I get emails regularly from parents who are like, "Hey, is this website legit?" So take this list as you will, add to this list as you need to, but here are a couple of options for you to start your scholarship search. Some of these websites will compile a list of scholarships for you that will be curated based on the information you put in your student profile on that website. So they'll kind of bring the scholarships to you. So let's talk about the application and the scholarship essay. You always want to make sure you put your best foot forward when you're writing these essays. You want to make sure that it's well written, thoroughly edited, and properly formatted. And the second and third part of that are easily done when you use a word processor such as Microsoft Word. The formatting is usually automatically set up. There's a spell check and a grammar check that you should run to make sure that everything sounds good. But the well-written part, that's going to be on you. So you want to make sure you don't just use a generic essay. You don't want to be handing out the same essay to every scholarship. You want to make sure you follow the instructions provided for each individual essay. You may find that you're answering some of the same questions over and over again. In that case, save a copy of each essay that you've written, or have a template if you're finding that you're answering the same thing. In the work world, when you're asked to give a resume and a cover letter, you don't necessarily give the same resume to every employer, and you certainly don't give the same cover letter. You craft your cover letter based on the requirements of the job and how your strengths will help you be the best person for that job. Same thing with the resume. You want to do the same thing with your scholarship essays. Tailor them to each specific scholarship and the prompts which they are asking you to respond to. The donors do want to know your views, your opinions, and your values. They want to know about you, but you want to make sure that you teach them about who you are through the lens of the question or the prompt that they have given you to address. So use that prompt, but do it in such a way that you can let them know the fantastic person that you are and why you are most deserving of that scholarship. Frozen. Sorry about that. So how do we make sure that we do all this? Start well in advance. Don't wait until the deadline to write your essay. You probably want to give yourself time to do some rough drafts before finalizing your essay. Rough drafts aren't just something you do in your English language arts class. So think about that prompt, take some notes, walk away from it, come back, draft, come back, final draft, and submit that. Something else you can do is create a support team. Include your parents, include your teachers, maybe even siblings and friends. Let them read your drafts. Let them take a look over what you're writing and see if they can add some insight, maybe catch something that you overlooked before you submit that draft. It also will allow you to stay motivated and accountable. If they know that you're working on scholarship essays and applications, they might be able to say, hey, how's it going? I haven't read any of your things in a while. You got anything else for me to read? So a little bit of homework. Again, this is a 102, so there's going to be some homework. Complete the FAFSA. If you haven't done so already, complete the FAFSA. Then complete your Delaware Higher Education Office student account at delawarestudentsuccess.org and begin applying for scholarships through the compendium. Take a look through that compendium and apply for as many as possible. Again, I like to look through the categories and find the scholarships that fit who I am and where I am in life, if I was a high school student, of course. Those scholarships opened on December 1st of 2022, so those scholarships are ready to be applied for. Remember to submit all applications and supporting documentation by the deadline, whether it's FAFSA follow-up documents, other financial aid documents, scholarship documents. Make sure you are submitting everything that is needed to complete your financial aid process. If you have questions about that process, contact the financial aid office at each school to which you're applying and ask them, what do I need to do to complete my process? So if you want some help with completing your FAFSA, if you have questions about scholarships, if you've got questions about financial aid in general, we do online appointments via Zoom. So you can scan this QR code, it'll take you to our website, and you can schedule a time to meet with one of our consultants to ask questions or get things completed. We're also still doing in-school events, so we may be coming to your school in the coming weeks or months to do a presentation, to do a completion event. We can even come in just to meet with you and your counselor if you've got questions or if your family's got questions. So scan that QR code and get in touch with us. So hopefully this has been a beneficial course for you. Hopefully you've learned some things. Hopefully you've got some resources to take away. And hopefully your next step is going to be to start applying for some great scholarships. And I hope you get as many as you apply for. So my name's Corey. There's my email address if you've got questions moving forward. And I thank you for spending this time with me. Good luck to you.